From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Less Levine, it's a Monday night. It's a brand new week. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Less Levine into its 25th consecutive year. And of course, right now we are powered by cleveland.com. Bud Shaw is with us on this Monday night, big night in Cleveland. Hello, Bud. How are you?
Well, we thought it was going to be a big night all along with the Browns playing. It turned out to be even a bigger day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not surprising because I think we all expected, or at least I did. I didn't expect it this way, and I'm sure when they canceled part of the press conference today, I'm sure that had to do with finding out who spilled the beans to the New York Times.
Well, yeah, we're talking about the Indians, obviously, with the name change. Yeah, I had the same reaction when it started moving last night as breaking news. I thought, well, we've known this is coming since July. Now, what we didn't know is that they would formalize it, I guess, by saying that they were definitely changing the name. But you knew back then, Les, when they made it public that they were going to review the name and talk to people and get input and all that. You knew that they weren't going to say, "Oh yeah, well, we did all that, and now we're going to keep it as an Indian." So we knew change was coming,
which they could have done, by the way.
Yeah, we knew change was coming, and Terry Francona, remember one of the press conferences that he had last summer when he basically said it's time. And once that came out, you knew that he wasn't about to say that if he thought that there was a chance of keeping the name.
Yeah, but he didn't really want to speak about it today, though. He wasn't ready for that.
No, I'm sure he didn't want to deal with it right now. But we knew. I'm just saying we knew from July on that they were going to change it. And a lot of the names that are still being floated today are the ones that we were floating back then. But they don't have to do anything. They won't do anything until, it won't take effect until 2022. And so they got one more year for the Indians to win a world championship, right?
Well, do you think they just should drop it now as long as it's out and it's not going to be back next in 22? You think they ought to just get rid of it now?
And just go a year without one?
Yeah, imitate the Washington football team.
Well, I always look at those things from a writer's standpoint. If I'm sitting in the press box at 2 minutes till midnight with a deadline, and the Cleveland baseball team just does not roll off the tongue or the typewriter. So I'd like him to come up with a more informal, folksy, friendly name.
All right. Like I tweeted something today, and I'm very proficient in or prolific in tweeting.
Oh yeah, you're all over that.
If it's going to be the what do you call it? The Spiders.
Spiders.
You would hope that the team has a great website.
I saw that you tweeted that, and I was wondering if you got what kind of reaction you got to that. Were there mild groans or really loud groans?
Yeah, mild groans. So I'm getting used to doing this show from my family, not my family, or my den, my personal den here. So you have a whole bunch of books, right? In yours?
I do. Mm-hmm.
I have a bunch that I haven't seen in 20 years, but they're sitting up there. And the other day I picked up a couple of books, and I go, "Oh, this is really cool. This is the best of Hal Lebovitz, former sports editor at the Plain Dealer. Great sports writing from 6 decades of writing sports in Cleveland. Pretty impressive looking book." And then right next to it was Ask Hal the Referee, which has referee questions that Hal used to answer in his columns all the time. So I picked up the book. I picked up the Ask Hal the Referee, and I'm reading it, and it's fabulously entertaining. And I'm reading the, if I can find it. Well, I'm reading the foreword, and I start reading the foreword, and then I get onto the meat of the book, and then I realize I wrote the foreword to this book.
I didn't remember it.
Yeah, what do I do? So I posed I made up a question, and I was fabulously funny. This is, by the way, this stuff is still on sale, and you can get it. The best of Hal Lebovitz is terrific, and the best of Ask Hal the Referee. All right,
Bud Shaw. Well, hey, if you're going to start showing books, let me show one.
Yeah, go ahead.
This was written about my time covering the Indians with Paul Hoyne.
Wow.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
What year was that?
Ken Kesey, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, I can't see it from here. Okay, got it. Very funny. We're done. Listen,
right. Good night, everybody.
If you and I can't, what war was that from? If you and I can't do a fabulously entertaining show on the night the Browns are playing the Baltimore Ravens and the name change potential coming, I don't know why I say potential, but the announcement today of a soon-to-be named team. If we can't do it, this probably should be the last time we ever try to do it.
Well, one of the things that I heard from today from a couple guys I know, and I think they were quite serious about it, was why don't they just change it to the Tribe? And I wanted to say that's really not quite maybe the message that we should take from this change, is that they still want to involve a Native American term. So I was a little surprised at that, but these guys were quite serious about it.
Well, I think we had to get a group of people, and somebody suggested we should get a group of people and change the name of Lake Erie and Cuyahoga County, you know, get all the Native American names out of there. And I'm pretty sure that's like you, not the object of this.
Not exactly the object, yeah. But hey, listen, I don't think this is the reason for doing it at all. I don't mean it to sound this way, but I do think it's a marketing opportunity for an organization that is certainly not exactly rolling in money right now. So if it helps spur sales of Indians gear for the next year and the team benefits from that, and then it turns around and comes up with a great nickname that people warm up to, or at least initially want the merchandise because it's a new thing. Right. Maybe the team benefits from that too financially. Yeah, I'm not saying that's going to win you a championship, but it can't hurt.
I look at it a little differently. I look at it that if they're positioning, and we've heard this for a while, that they've been positioning themselves to sell the team, although we have no proof that that's correct. But when Chief Wahoo went by the wayside, I think a lot of people were thinking, all right, now they can merchandise it to somebody else and maybe sell the team and make some money at this point. And I don't know that that's the reason they're doing it either. I'd like to think, knowing Paul, what I know of Paul Dolan and my own personal relationship with him, he is a very nice man, an honest man, and one who only has the city of Cleveland in his mind here. Yes, they make money. They're a baseball team. They make money. But I'd like to believe that my thought about what this is all about is correct.
Yeah. Listen, I know people don't agree with it. Probably will never agree with it. And some people do. Some people think it's long overdue. So, I mean, from an organization standpoint, they've been hearing protests about the name, and they've seen what's happened around professional and collegiate sports over the last, I mean, it's been a long time since teams started changing names, 30 or 40 years. So, yeah. I just think they came to their own conclusion that it was time to move on. And I've long felt it was time to move on from the name and especially the caricature of Wahoo. But yeah. I understand. I didn't grow up with it, and I'm quick to say that because I know it has sentimental value to people. Many people who never consider still don't believe that it's an insult, meant as an insult, or that it's taken as an insult widespread. So I get all that, but just coming from outside, I thought they could have changed it a while ago.
Yeah. Well, now the pressure will be on Atlanta and a couple other places. In the meantime, we put up a question of the week, a question of the day. What would you rename the Cleveland Indians? So here's some of the responses we got. Let's take a look at them. This is from David Kaczynski, I would go with the Buckeyes. Maybe that would win them the World Series. There's no way in the world Ohio State is giving up the Buckeyes to Cleveland or anybody else. Andy Mee says, while I still prefer to be the Cleveland Indians, I can get behind the Cleveland Sliders. Our the beloved, I don't know do you think he's beloved, the mascot? I don't know about that.
I'm the worst one to ask about mascots and uniforms because I pay very little attention to either one.
Larry Pantages, former sports editor at the Akron Beacon Journal, says, we've been to this Heartbreak Hotel many times, and to keep the music-related thing going because of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he wants Moondog. Well, I think Dan Gilbert might want a piece of that action too, as one of the mascots of the Cavaliers. Dan Gillespie says the Cleveland Engines. If you say fast enough, it reminds you of engines. Well,
Good try, Dan.
That doesn't help the problem here. And Lee Sutley says, can the Dolans sell the naming rights? Well, yeah.
Hey, I do think there's some, obviously there's a Negro League connection with Buckeyes. I doubt it. If Ohio State tried to trademark the word "the," I think they probably have trademarked Buckeyes too. I'm not sure.
You got to admit, trying to trademark the word "the" was genius.
That had to be a proud moment for you as an alum.
Yeah, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Bud Shaw is with us. I assume that means that Devin from Concord is with us also. Mike Masetta from Nature Zone will be with us a little bit later. We'll come back. We'll talk some Browns football, getting ready to take on the Baltimore Ravens. More sports and Les Levine continues in a moment, powered by cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art BetAmerica kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
My birthday's for today, December 14th, 2000. Charlie Trippi, football player. Ernie Davis, what a backfield that would have been. Davis and Jim Brown. Otto Graf was born in 1947. Bill Buckner, Craig Biggio, and D.K. Metcalf, born on this date in the 14th of December. 216-575-0403 is our number to call. Bud Shaw is with us. Bud, I got an idea for the name of the team. Back at the turn of the century, the Indians had a player by the name of Louis Sockalexis.
Stop right there.
And stop! Don't continue on thinking it would be good to name it after him.
Do you have a preference?
No.
Really, you don't care, do you?
Cleveland Spiders doesn't hit me right though.
So what else do you like?
None of them do. How about the Cleveland Blues? How about?
I didn't mind Blues or Blue Sox. I don't mind that at all, but I know that kind of hits people kind of flat. Like they want something more out of that.
And you got the Red Sox and the White Sox already, and the Red Legs. I don't know. Nothing. Some of these are the same old tired suggestions, and nothing. I would think that in my case, if I would hear it, I'd know it, but I haven't heard it yet.
Well, I think when we did this back in July, I jokingly said the Midges because it has such a connection to the memorable part of the history of this team, and it's also, it's a Lake Erie phenomenon, right? But that has gotten no traction, and I didn't expect it to.
Yeah. By the way, there's a football game in town tonight.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
The Baltimore, that team from Baltimore is here. They got a pretty good defense. This is not going to be anything close to what happened in the opening game this year. The Browns were with a new coach. They hadn't been together. They didn't have an identity. You knew the identity of Baltimore, which is why they had such an advantage, because it was basically the same team for several years, and they didn't have to infiltrate too many new things, new offense and defense. But this is different because now, 10, 12 games into the season, this is a different Cleveland Browns team right now also.
Yeah. One of the things we talked about before the season was the idea that the teams that would come out of this COVID, this unique situation of very little training camp, not much together time, were going to be the organizations that had been together for a while. So we knew the Steelers and the Ravens would, or at least I suspected that they would come out of the gate pretty well. And then what we're seeing now is a team under Kevin Stefanski that has caught them, and I think in the case of the Steelers and the Ravens right now, I think has surpassed them. And I don't.
That's what I asked.
I don't say that like cavalierly either. That because I lived in Cleveland for 30 years. That's not a homer take on this thing.
Right.
I think right now they're the best team in the division, and they still have to beat those two teams that they haven't been able to handle for many, many years. But offensively right now, the Cleveland Browns are a more well-rounded and dangerous team than the Steelers are. And I think also than the Ravens are, but we'll see. I mean, Lamar Jackson is still that X factor who could light it up if he has that kind of game.
I've been saying anyway that the Browns have an easy schedule all the way out here, but the other teams have easy schedules also, which makes the head-to-head meeting between the Browns and the Ravens all that more important. I hear people giving up on winning the division. I don't give up on it. They can win it just as easily as Baltimore or Pittsburgh can do it.
Well, after last night, I certainly think it's nothing to give up on. I mean, we're talking about a Steelers team that seems to be able to only a quarterback who seems to be able to only throw the ball 15 yards downfield. And I know that's their offensive strategy right now. It's to keep Ben Roethlisberger healthy. He was sacked for the first time in 250 snaps or whatever it was last night. But because they don't look downfield very often, those defenses are starting to really crowd the line of scrimmage. And we saw it last night with a pick six. And so they still have to go in, and they have to play Indianapolis yet, and they have to play the Browns. And I think it's not a given that they're going to roll the Indianapolis Colts. They'll beat the Bengals this week, you would think. That would put them at 12-2. But it's not a definite that they win those last two games. And if the Browns can win out, which is, it's a possibility now, right? I mean, if you
any one of the three teams can win out. It's kind of interesting when you think about it. If you were going to restack the teams and the season was going to start today, and you got a 4-game schedule, a truncated schedule. Who would you pick? Who would you pick as your number one? We always redraw the draft. Now let's redraw the Browns and Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I'm not sure who you'd go 1, 2, and 3.
I would really be tempted, Les, to go Browns number one, because I've seen a Ravens offense that seems to be bogged down. A secondary that I don't think is as good as people thought it was when the season began. And a Steelers defense a Steelers offense that can't run the ball, and a defense that has lost some really key guys. I mean, you've lost Devin Bush, you've lost Bud Dupree. It's not the same defense that it was in the beginning of the year. And you saw what a good quarterback with a really good arm did to them last night when they kept coming after him the way they did. Really made him pay. And, they did it with a good wide receiver from Buffalo, and maybe the Browns don't have that guy with Beckham out, but they certainly have a good group of wide receivers right now.
I'm watching the game, and nothing was happening in the first quarter and a half, and then finally Pittsburgh breaks the ice and gets a touchdown, and I figure, okay, this game might be over now. Get a field goal, and you got a 10-7 game here probably when it's all said and done. And I'm still watching as time's going on, and Pittsburgh's not doing anything. They didn't, they scored the touchdown. They didn't have the heavyweight punch that they needed.
Yeah, if you're gonna throw the ball the way they do now, which is to get it out of his hands quickly, short passes, hope these guys can break, run after catch. You need guys that are shorthanded, and they've really struggled in that regard. I mean, they did it last night early on, and benched a wide receiver who couldn't catch it, and they realized that he better be part of their offense because he's the most explosive part of their offense. So they're still struggling right now, and Ben Roethlisberger, is showing his age, and we all knew that would happen eventually, but it certainly is happening now.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us, and we're talking Browns and the Cleveland baseball team. Whatever is on your mind, let's hear about it. Big night in Cleveland sports. More sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Well, we talked earlier about Ben Roethlisberger, and we haven't mentioned the guy the Browns have, Baker Mayfield, and of course you've got Lamar Jackson from Baltimore, and also in the division you've got Joe Burrow. So you got a change in at the top as quarterbacks are concerned, and this is a really good crop of QBs for this division. So who would you rather have right now for the next year or two? Would you rather have Burrow? Would you rather have Mayfield, Roethlisberger, or Jackson?
I guess I'd have to say Lamar Jackson, just because he's such a dynamic talent, and I understand that he hasn't improved much this year in the way he's thrown the ball, but I still like a lot of what he brings. But yeah, I've never thought I would say this, Les, that when you posed that question, my thought on Roethlisberger is that he would be fourth. And it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate his career or don't think he's still got anything left in the tank at all. I'm just thinking if you're going to play the next couple of years, you'd want any of those first three quarterbacks before you'd want to hang your hat on a guy who has to get rid of the ball in 2 seconds for them to keep him healthy.
How do you explain what Baker Mayfield has been able to do here, and yet the fans still aren't with him? Although I sense this week is a little better for the grading of Baker Mayfield. But what is it about him that the people are not buying in yet?
Well, I just think it's still the feeling that last year was such an awful year for him. Coming off that short cameo is short. Coming off that cameo first season where he had 5 or 6 quick games, looked good, improved the team. Everybody had such high expectations. And he came back, and I don't think he was in shape, and I think he thought it was going to be easy. And I think he has that attitude that he thought he had arrived already. And I think people are bristling against that attitude still.
What do you expect? He's trying to clean a house that seats 78,000 people.
What's that?
He's got a house where 78,000 people live. It's got a wear and tear on him.
Yeah, right. He, but I think what they're seeing now is a guy who can manage games and do more than that. But a guy who isn't going to turn the ball over and do crazy things. And I think for a while there, that you didn't know if he was going to just start flinging it and throwing it. He's high and wide, and I think he's shown that he's more of a professional quarterback right now than he was at any time since he came into the league.
I'm hearing words like you just used, that he manages the game. That's not a bad thing if your team is good.
No, I think it takes it makes you subvert your ego a little bit. It makes you say, okay, I'm doing this for the good of the team. I don't care if I'm throwing it 30 times a game, And I think the way he came into the league, you wondered if he could ever be that kind of quarterback. I mean, I think they asked the same questions about Josh Allen coming into the league. He was kind of a gunslinger and big arm, and he's going to try to fit it into every, small window that he was presented with. And I think it's a natural thing that these young guys realize that, this is a really good league here. There's some really great athletes on defense, and they can make you look silly at times. So I think he's really grown as a quarterback. His arm has always been good. And let's face it, he's benefiting from being with a smart offensive coach who's putting him in good positions, and he's gotten used to an offense for once. And we think over the next 3, 4, 5 years that this coach and quarterback ought to be able to grow together like the best quarterbacks and coaches in the league always have.
All right, so you look at this game tonight, and you got some interesting personnel on both sides of the ball. What we didn't mention is that Harbaugh might be one of the top 5 coaches in the NFL right now, and it's a little too early to give that award to Stefanski. But what do you expect to see tonight? I'm not talking about one guy popping out and showing something we haven't seen before. But what kind of game do you think it's going to be? Is it a slow down running game? Is it going to be, well, they know we're going to run, so we're going to pass? What do you expect to see here?
Well, what I expect from the Browns is what I think has become sort of their go-to is I think they're going to throw the ball early. I think this is a secondary that you can throw on. And I think they're going to do it early. And I think they're going to hope to get out in front, and then they're going to run the ball again. And I think the advantage is it's not that Lamar Jackson doesn't have a good arm. He does have a good arm. But I think with the wind being up a little bit, I think that it benefits the Browns a little more than it does Lamar Jackson, just because I still think that Baker Mayfield is more accurate than Lamar Jackson is. And I think he's, he didn't prove that early on, but I think he's starting to prove that again.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us, and we'll come back. We're going to talk more about the Browns and the Ravens. I think it was Nick Chubb that the media was talking to, who was not aware that the Baltimore Ravens were once the Cleveland Browns. Do you find that, I don't want to pick on Nick, but do you find that hard to believe that that most players wouldn't know the history of this team and franchise, especially when they're playing for it?
I try to keep in mind that these things happened before these guys were born, or close to when they were born. So yeah, I used to get a little bit like, I wouldn't say mad about hearing that or disappointed. I used to get like, I couldn't believe that the guys didn't take the time to figure out what was going on in the town where they were drafted. But anymore, I think it's just a part of the generation of, how many things do we really understand that happened before we were on this earth? Not a lot.
Can I ask you a couple of questions? No, never.
I do remember World War. I remember hearing that there was a World War II.
It was in all the papers.
I'm not totally in the dark.
We'll come on back. Bud Shaw with us. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis. You'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs. and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
This day in sports history, 1947, the Cleveland Browns defeat the New York Football Yankees 14-3 for their second straight AAFC championship. 2 years later, 1948, the Browns went undefeated. You know, everybody talks about the Miami Dolphins as the only undefeated team, but if you count the All-American Football Conference, the Browns were right there in that year. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw is with us, and we're talking about the soon-to-be former Cleveland Indians. Also, the Browns getting ready to take on the Baltimore Ravens. And I wonder in the past, some of the coaches that have been here, Bud, have talked to the Browns team about Baltimore as a win one for the Gipper speech. I don't know that we haven't heard Stefanski doing that in any situation. I don't think. Have we heard anything about that?
No, I haven't heard anything about it. I just think that I think new coaches look at it, and maybe to a fault. Like, what I think that the time to do that would have been when Policy and Dwight Clark and those guys came in here. And they clearly did not. They thought that their legacy and building those great teams in San Francisco was all that they needed. They like scoffed almost at the Browns, glory years of the '80s because they never really won anything. And that would have been the time to really do it. I just think too much time has passed now, Les. I mean, you could trot out a speech about the Ravens from 1996 or 1999. And I think when you finish and you leave the locker room as a head coach, I think you're leaving behind guys that are just going to be looking at each other like, what was that? I just don't think it resonates anymore.
All right, well, I'll tell you what resonates, and they should promote this all the time in the Browns locker room. So, that stuff you're standing on, that's not a floor. Wow, it's nature stone.
Good segue there.
It's better and better, Les. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
I didn't see that coming.
Big night in Cleveland sports. The Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Maybe the players can get a little back at the Ravens for what they've done to this fan base. I don't know if that's the case, but it's going to be fun. Anytime those two teams play, I'm going to be thinking about that.
You and me both, and I think that anybody I guess over the age of 30 is remembering that. But it's interesting that and maybe a little bit to Bud's point, the younger generation they don't remember it. The vans or the trucks leaving Cleveland in the middle of the night and waking up in the morning and the headline in the paper about Modell takes the team. I mean, that stuff it was so ingrained in us and especially myself at a young age that I just despise the Ravens and that whole ownership group for what they did. But I don't think that it resonates with the younger generation as much. They look at the Ravens as the Ravens. That's just a team that we need to beat.
Right. Well, can they beat them? Can the Browns beat them tonight?
Oh yeah, I think that the Browns are a better football team than the Ravens, and it's same situation as every week. They're going into the game light on defense. It just seems like Odell I know got hurt offensively, but short of that, they've been pretty healthy on the offensive side. The defense just seems to plug and play, and this week, Taki's out. And Ward, of course, is out for his second game. But hopefully that defense can play real well. And if they contain Jackson, I definitely think it's like Baker Mayfield said, they're a different team today than they were when they played the Ravens. They have bought into Stefanski and his system, and they're playing some good football right now. And the Ravens have kind of gone in the other direction for the most part. And I think that this is a ripe for a Browns win situation in a nationally televised game, and to really put this franchise on the map.
Yeah, Bud, I've talked to you several times about this. Your first trip into Cleveland in 1991, and hearing about how excited the fan base would be when it got going. Well, I feel bad for the Browns fans now who can only have 12,000 people at the game tonight. Could you imagine this town? Can either of you imagine how this town would be going crazy right now if it was a regular game on a Monday night?
Yeah, and then if you look ahead, allow yourself to look ahead a little bit. Can you imagine what that final game of the season would be like in Cleveland with maybe an AFC North division on the line?
Right. Right. 216-574-03 is the number. Go ahead.
Well, I'm with Bud. The Steelers did what they had to do. They lost that second game. Now, if the Browns win out and the Steelers win out, that game it could not only be for the division title, it could also be for a bye, a 1 or a 2 seed in the playoffs. So, I mean, this is really shaping up to be a remarkable season for this football team, the organization in general, and this fan base. And what a way to finish out a crazy 2020 and get the Browns back in the playoffs and playing good football.
Look at the pressure and what's riding on it for Baker Mayfield. First of all, an extension to his contract, making people forget that what happened in his second year here, and how good the Browns' running game is. There's a lot to show, and I think that in recent weeks, I think the Browns have changed the thinking of the national pundits out there, and hopefully they rise to the occasion. There's certainly no reason to think they won't, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in past years, when this team has played well and surprised everybody and gotten everybody excited, they've turned around and they've played a lesser opponent the next week or 2 weeks later and lost and thrown that whole momentum thing out the window. It's hard to imagine this team right now, regardless of what happens tonight, they might I expect they're going to win, but even if they lose a close game, it's hard to imagine they're going to this is going to be a domino and they're going to lose to somebody like the Jets or Giants. I just don't see it happening with this staff and this offense.
All right, Mike, you got a score for tonight?
Oh, I'm going to go Browns 27, Ravens 20.
Whatever you said with the Browns first is okay with me.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you stay well. We'll talk to you next week. And I know you got some big news to announce in a week or two, and I can't wait for it.
All right, Les, I appreciate it. You got it, guys. Thanks, Bud. Thanks, Mike. Have a great night. All right.
Mike Masetta from Nature Stone. All right, Bud Shaw with us. Let's take a break. We'll come on back. We'll get to your phone calls when we get back exclusively. Powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
There's been a generation, maybe two, of Browns fans that have never seen how this area reacts to a winning NFL team in the city. And the pandemic has muted Browns fans and all the craziness that goes along with a winning football team in Cleveland. The 70,000 screaming fans at the stadium has been capped at 12,000 a game. Social distancing has done away with crazy Browns parties at all the bars downtown. And there's not the latest and greatest hits on every radio station.
On the first day of Christmas, Art Modell gave to me a Ritigliano Super Bowl team. On the second day of Christmas, Art Modell gave to me.
Whoa. That one hasn't aged very well. The thought of Art Modell giving Cleveland anything took a really bad turn. It's kind of fitting, though, with the Ravens in town. There are some 80 classics, though, that have fared much better.
The dogs are barking, we're all having fun. Bernie will lead us to that place in the sun. Got South and Class, and it's 23. The MVP of the AFC. Bernie, oh yeah, how you can grow.
If Baker Mayfield continues to play well, a remake could be in the offing. Baker kind of has a nice ring to it. If the focus needs to be the dynamic duo in the Browns' backfield, we've got a roadmap for that one, too. Sometimes these Browns fans just flat out overcomplicate it.
They're the bad Cleveland Browns, baddest football team around. Better than a team should be. They're gonna win the AFC. Now the Browns are known out of the league for their fearsome running backs. Nothing could be finer than a run by Ernest Biner and a big Kevin Mack attack.
There is some carryover in that tune as well. You can be sure if the Browns keep winning, the tunes will start rolling in and taking over Cleveland airwaves.
Yeah.
I
it
love
was
it.
Fun. It was fun.
It. It's
Let's go ahead.
The songs that are good are good. The songs that are bad are good. I like a long time ago, I went into Athens, Georgia. I was working in San Diego at the time, and they asked me to write a story on. There were 5 undefeated college football teams all vying for number 1 that year, and one of them was Georgia with Herschel Walker. And I went in to write a takeout on Herschel Walker and Georgia football, and I found this little campus bar with a jukebox, and there was a song titled "Give Herschel Walker the Ball," Part 1. Right below it, "Give Herschel Walker the Ball," Part 2. So not a lot of originality there, but it was very effective.
Wise words.
Yes.
Let's go to Bill. Bill in North Olmsted. Hello, Bill.
Hey, guys. I'm probably not going to have a chance or enough time to get a comment on the Browns game, but one question I'd have of you, Les, is when is one more change too much? The society that we live in is just, especially for older folks, and in baseball, that's the primary market, at least in Cleveland, that loves baseball. But I don't know. I've been a season ticket holder 29 years, 39 years of spring training, and I'm losing hearts. And if it weren't for the history of taking my Sunday games and all my grand Sunday games, I know I wouldn't continue as a season ticket holder. I don't know what I'm going to do now. But I got a question for Bud. Bud, I know you're from Philadelphia. But you lived in the South for some time, didn't you?
I did. I was in Atlanta for almost 6 years. Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know what the feeling was of a born and bred Southerner towards the Yankees up north, but I just wonder if we'll see this thing continue to where the Yankees name is objectionable, and if so, would the New York Yankees, with their history, do anything about their nickname?
You really see those two as an equivalent situation, huh?
Well, it's similar. If it's offensive to a fairly, it doesn't even have to be a fairly large group of people, but, this baseball is tradition, baseball is history, and I know the Dolans have taken this into consideration, and I think their hands are probably tied. But like I first presented the list, when is one more change too many? And for me in baseball,
Bill, I don't want to give you
right there.
life advice here, but I don't think you can live by that mantra. Life changes, everything changes, and nobody got promised it was going to be the same. And you can either adapt or you can stay with it.
Well, I'll always be a baseball fan, and I've been lucky to have two teams that I followed. One that's always been good for me, the Cardinals, and the Indians have been good since '94. And I lived through 40-some years, just like you did, of bad baseball, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it now. And don't even have to be world champions, just have a competitive team like we've had. But too many other factors are entering into the picture now to kind of take it away.
Okay, Bill, I got to go. Thank you. Yeah, I think what you want is the opportunity to your team will give you a chance to win on any given night. Let's take a break. We're coming back one more time with Bud Shaw. More sports and less. Levine continues, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone! There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Mary Kay Cabot joins us tomorrow from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. You see us live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can archive it anytime, any place, any day, right here, wherever you can do that. In the meantime, Bud Shaw is with us tonight. Hey, Bud, we have one quickie we're going to use. So do you have paper? You have grading paper?
I do. And before I get to that, I want to inform the millions of Browns fans that are watching us right now that this is probably not a surprise, but the inactive list includes Austin Hooper and Denzel Ward for this game tonight.
I'm shocked by that.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's see what Tallahassee, Florida has brought us as far as quickies are concerned. This is from Steve. How come often an offbeat drummer tried to accompany John Adams during a rally, there would be some repercussions? Bud, your thoughts?
I think it's pretty strong.
7.0.
I'm giving it a 7.0, and if it had gone last in the rotation, it might have gotten as high as an 8. It's original.
Everything.
It's original, first of all, and I didn't see the punchline coming. So
no, you didn't. You didn't. And
those
the
are two
punchline
pretty
was
good.
not in Tallahassee, Florida.
Right.
All right. Does Baker Mayfield make his name tonight and make his reputation and make his multi-millions? Or is this another one where half the Browns fans are going to come out and say, well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Oh, sure, they won the game, but they didn't win by enough.
Wait, one quick thing, Les. Is that the only How Come Quickie tonight?
Yeah, I don't know where Mr. Gullible
I'm
is.
changing my score then. I'm giving it a 9.9.
Larry from Tallahassee just went up.
It was strong, Larry. It was very good.
You carry the brief, whatever. It wasn't going to be funny anyway. You got to time it. You got to know when to walk away. Yeah. So
okay, to your question about Baker, yeah, I think this is going to be another night of his positive development. I'll put it that way. He's now gone a number of games, protecting the ball. I know there's been a couple fumbles along the way, but I mean, in the way he's throwing downfield and not taking big chances. He knows he has a running game. He knows he can get out of the pocket and run a little bit. I expect to see more progress from him tonight. And I might be crazy, Les, but I expect to see a 10-point Browns win. I don't think this is going to be as close as some people think. And I know a couple friends of mine in the media have weighed everything and still picked the Baltimore Ravens because they feel like the Ravens are getting healthy again. And Lamar Jackson is obviously the reason why you would pick.
Well, it's the season for Baltimore because if they don't win the game, they can't they can't make the playoffs. So a lot of pressure on them. That is for sure. All right, that'll do it for us. Great job by Bud Shaw, who comes through each and every week for us. He's a 9.9 guy. I think he's a 10.3 guy out of 10, but he won't allow me to give him that much credit. But we appreciate what he does for the show. And Mary Kay Cabot tomorrow night. Dennis Maniloff will be here on Wednesday. Go Browns. And hopefully we can have a good celebration tomorrow night. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.